Hello everyone and welcome back to the UConn Huskies Dynasty. In the last episode, UConn got off to a 1-0 start behind the first start in the career of the freshman quarterback Dorian Tobin. And this week we face one of the biggest tests in the entire series in the Arkansas Razorbacks. If we look at this matchup on paper, they are an 87 down the board and we are listed at an 85. I have sort of learned not to trust these overalls. They seem a little bugged and not always accurate, but that is at least what the game says. One thing of note really quick, I did have a bug. I tried to play this game before and it went to overtime and was just frozen at the very end. I think I have a clip of it. I'll probably show it on screen here. My game appears to be super bugged right now as I'm just stuck staring at midfield after having won the toss. I cannot pause the game. I cannot advance the game, and there's some players just like randomly running around the field. I can hit my home button, so it's not my PlayStation that's frozen. After we had won the coin flip and elected to defend, it was just frozen. There was nothing I could do. And unfortunately, the only save I had to reload after that was all the way back in week 1 versus North Texas. And I had already posted that video, so it was too late to just re-record that one. So what I had to do is go through the calendar that I showed you guys and force the wins for all the teams that we saw in episode 1, as well as ourselves. Like you'll see here, force win home, but we did actually win this game. Just unfortunate, had a bug, but the stats did come out a little bit differently this time. So I just want to show you those new stats really quick. Tobin ended up with 3 touchdown passes and no picks in the change. Did take a sack though, but did have a 76% completion percentage on 182 yards passing. Darrell Robinson did not have quite as good of a day as he did with us playing. 19 for 81, no touchdowns. And receiving, it was still Shamar Porter leading the way, 6 for 69 and 2 touchdowns. Harper 3 for 34, Angler 3 for 33, Overhauser 2 for 20, and Dalton actually got involved with the CPU at the helm, 2 for 16 and a touchdown, and Robinson 3 for 10. The real unfortunate thing is that we didn't get the interceptions from both of our elite development corners. Santos still got his, Butts ended up with 1 and Terrell got 1, but Kiki did not get his, which he did in the episode if you recall. Really unfortunate bug. It kind of sucks that the stats kind of just got reset on us, but it is what it is. We deal with some of these bugs with EA games. So you'll see I went through and forced literally every home or away win that there was. So all of the standings are totally the same because of that. Really doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but I just wanted to be transparent with you guys that that did happen. And it was unfortunate because it was a pretty good game against Arkansas. But today we'll try it again and see if we can get the dub. But first and foremost, let's just remind ourselves of the recruiting board. Again, our top recruits are Josh McCargo, Darren Michelle, and John Pelshak. So we're looking to shore up this defensive line. We've had some struggles rushing the passer in these past couple of seasons. So 3 of our top 4 recruits are actually defensive linemen, 2 right ends and a D tackle. And then of course, John Pelshak, who may just be the QB1 of the future. It does look like many of these are going to be battles, but currently we are in the lead on most of them or making up ground on others. We did have Joe Milanovic, a left guard, lock us out, so we'll take him off the board. And we also had a corner, Marquise Traywin, lock us out as well. But to be honest, any 5-star that's way down the board here, we're probably just not really going after. Like, we're going to lose RJ Shao more than likely. Currently, we're very top heavy on the recruiting board, but we don't need to fill a lot of positions this year. So I think that that's totally fine. But enough of that, let's get into the action. It's UConn facing off against the Arkansas Razorbacks, an SEC opponent. One of the best teams, if not the best team, we will play all season. UConn comes in top 10 in rankings. We'll see if they can climb even further or if this is where they start to fall. UConn will start the day with the football. And I took some advice in the comment section regarding the offensive line. Really, the only thing I decided to change for now is that Wayne Rourke will be the starting center, although he is experiencing an increased risk of injury at the moment. I had no idea. The reason I decided to do that is because he has higher strength than Adams. So it's 86 versus 79. And I think that's why Kiernan is such a high level interior lineman, is because he has such high strength. Somebody in the comments pointed out that generally these interior linemen are going to be going against power rushers more frequently than finesse rushers. So it makes sense to have high strength in the middle. And while Adams may have the best balance in terms of the blocking stats, Rourke has the best strength and not that big of a dip in the blocking stats. And you might be saying, well, why not start Kiernan since he has the best strength? Well, some of his blocking stats are just horrendous, so it doesn't make a ton of sense to keep him in. He's a terrible pass blocker, and he has bad run block power, which we just talked about. Power is what you need in the interior. As always, I appreciate your guys' comments. Continue to leave feedback, and it'll have an impact on the series. Speaking of having an impact, there goes Robinson for about 11. First and 10 from the 34. This one's going to be a read option, and Tobin on a keeper cuts this up the middle, takes a hit, and now Shamar Porter will exit with an injury. Got his wrist tied up there, I guess, during a block, and he is out. That promotes Dalton Schmizniak to wide receiver 1 currently, and you'll see a lot more of Overhauser and Harper because of that. First and 10 from the 44 for the offense. Robinson cuts this back and gets a good pickup up to the 47 to set up a 2nd and inches. Strained forearm. We can keep him in and tape the wrist. That's kind of cool. I haven't seen that before, surprisingly, in the 4 seasons we've done. Let's do that. So Porter back in, has a taped wrist now, 2nd and inches from the 47, and we'll immediately go Shamar Porter's way. He's still at an injury risk, though. I don't know if I want to risk it too much. I'm going to leave him out of the game for now. I do not want to risk a big-time injury this early in the season, as Tobin will hand off Robinson again, and he's experiencing some wear and tear. We're seeing a lot more wear and tear this season. 2nd and 8 from the 34, as we'll hand off Robinson again, and he goes down to make it a 3rd and short. 3rd and 1 from the 27. It's Max Cadet in the backfield, breaks a tackle, but can't get far enough forward. Sets up a 4th and 2, and the OC is calling for us to go for this. Darrell Robinson checks back in. Do we go back to the ground on a 4th down and 2? We do, and Robinson, he's got a lane. He might have better than a first. No, he's tackled down inside the 5 at the 2 to set up a 1st and goal for the Huskies. Made this drive look easy on the ground so far, as Max Cadet in the game again. Tobin gonna keep it and run it up the middle. Touchdown, UConn. Dorian Tobin, always a risk to keep it and to run it in for a touchdown like he does here. And UConn will take the early lead, scoring on their first possession. It'll be 7-0 after the PAT. So here come the Razorbacks offense, and they are led by junior quarterback KJ Jackson. He is a scrambler archetype with decent speed, so we'll need to keep that in mind. Halfback is Sean Maijay, and the backup is Jaden Tobias. Wide receiver 1, Davion Dozier, Desmond James, Frank Huey, and then Kerry Hawkinson is the 4, and then Shamar Easter is the starting tight end, a position which they are evidently very good at, with their top 3 all being in the 80s, and hey, even their 4th guy, a freshman, Ronald Kendricks, is an 80 overall. In terms of pure talent, it is a good offense, but not the best we've ever faced. But definitely one that should challenge us, as this is going to be a handoff to Sean Maijay to start the day, and he gets 8 yards. And I'm just noticing the strangest thing. Alan Swan, our 2nd defensive tackle, appears to have just ceased to exist. I cannot find him in the depth chart. Corin Daly got promoted to DT2. Rush DT also listed as Corin Daly. He's not here amongst the lower rated guys. He's also not on the injury report, whether I sort by all or I sort by defensive tackles. It's almost like Alan Swan has just quit the team before week 2. Very bizarre. So you'll see a lot more of this man in the middle. That's Corin Daly. As on 3rd and 2, they go to the air, and this one going to be caught by, that's number 83, Desmond James on the reception. Santos tried to get a piece of it, he couldn't, and Arkansas will hurry it up off of that, but a huge pickup. They're into UConn territory at the 39. Jackson back to pass, throws, little check down here. That one is completed, and for a first. 1st and 10 from the 26. Jackson back to pass again. We're sending a blitz. He's hit as he throws. It doesn't matter. It's completed to Frank Huey and sets up a 2nd down. From the 21, 2nd down and 5. Jackson will hand off Maijay, a pancake block on Calvin Whitaker, and it's Robert Butts who has to clean it up, and already 1st down goal to go for the Razorbacks. From the 8, in this pistol formation with 3 in the backfield, sending 1 out to the right. It's a handoff up the middle, broken tackle. That must be Kowalkowski. the third string halfback, if I had to assume. But Maije checks back in for 2nd and goal from the 7. Man in motion. Goes all the way to the right. It's a designed QB run, and Corin Daly is all over it. Well, if Alan Swan is actually just done with the team, at least we had depth at the DT position with a guy like Corin Daly. Over the middle, touchdown as I'm talking. End zone for the Razorbacks. It's the tight end on the reception. And just like that, Arkansas finds their way down the field and gets a score as well. It'll be 7-7 when the Huskies take back over. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, 1 for each team, locked at 7. 1st and 10 from the 25, as Darrell Robinson will get the carry and gets 4. On a 2nd and 6, we'll go read option, and the read was to Darrell Robinson, who has another good pickup up to the 43. Part of me wants to throw the football, but if the run game is working so well, why would we? Although Max Cadet checks in now, and he is a good running back, but he doesn't have nearly the explosiveness that Darrell Robinson does, despite having, on paper, better speed. And there's proof of concept right there, loses a yard. I believe Cadet has 91 speed to Robinson's 89, but you can just tell the difference with explosiveness, as this is a wide receiver screen set up for Terry Overhauser, and that'll get a first up to the 43. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion from Tobin. From the 43, Robinson gets the carry, and he's going to lose yards as well, -3 to be exact. So 3rd and a long way to go from the 46. Tobin back to pass. He wants Dalton, and he got a foot in. 1st down, Dalton Schmizniak up to the enemy 25. Arkansas is challenging the ruling of a completed pass. It looked good to me. He did have a foot in bounds. But did he have full possession of the football? I mean, that looks clear as day there. And they rule in favor of the Huskies. So a big 1st down for Dalton Schmizniak. Very well played by the young wide receiver, as Darrell Robinson finding a lane here. And he goes down inside the 5 again, like a carbon copy of the last drive. Went down at the 2 last time. Now he's down at the 4. 1st down and goal from the 4. Tobin back to pass, lobs one up for Shamar Porter. He can't hold on. It was worth a shot. Why not give your best receiver a chance? Could be the final play of the 1st quarter, as Tobin hands off Robinson. He punches it in. Touchdown Huskies on their 2nd drive of the day. Looking to make it 14-7. The senior halfback, Darrell Robinson, getting into the end zone. And it wasn't the final play of the 1st quarter, because we managed to leave 2 seconds on the clock. And really quickly, I just want to show you guys what I'm talking about with explosiveness from Robinson. And Cam Edwards had this too, but just when he makes this cut, he just bursts through the lane. Max Cadet, I like him, but he is a power back. He doesn't really have this ability. He's more of just a downhill runner. So I think we need to find the new elusive back of the future for this team. 1st and 10, Arkansas. So UConn scored on their first 2 drives. Can Arkansas do the same? As they've got a man in motion, appears to be the tight end. It's Maije on the carry, and it's Gerard Byler and Raheem Lovelace in the backfield for the combined TFL. 2nd and 12 from the 17. Tell you what, we've got a lot of depth at linebacker as well. This time Maije finds a little bit of running room, sets up a 3rd and medium. Empty set for Jackson. McNulty almost jumping off sides. Jackson throws, immediately finding his target, but it's punched out by Cam Chadwick. And it's a 3 and out for Arkansas. Good stand by the UConn defense. Well, Arkansas going to need to start making some adjustments, or we might just start running away with this football game. Robinson in motion. It's the jet touch pass, and he doesn't get super far. I haven't seen a running back do the jet touch pass in quite some time, a la Victor Rosa a couple seasons ago. 2nd and 6 from the 43. It's a read option. The read is for Robinson, and he makes it a 3rd and short. We approach midfield. Robinson gets the carry. Actually, it's Cadet in the backfield. I was not paying attention to the number. Just used to Robinson being in. Either way, it's a 1st down for Max Cadet. Brings us to a 2nd and 6. 7.5 left to play in the 1st half as we get this underneath to Shamar Porter, who is no longer an injury risk. On 1st and 10, Tobin back to pass, and this one's going to be intercepted as we were baited by the corner. Tobin, though, like DK Metcalf, chasing down the defensive back, actually saves a touchdown there. Love that from Dorian Tobin, fastest man on the field. And, you know, he's the one who throws the pick, but he does prevent the touchdown. Now the defense could maybe hold them to 3, and that is just completely user error. My initial read was Shamar Porter, and I told myself that if I see both of the DBs back up, I would throw the check down to Dalton Schmizniak here on the left. So when the snap started and the defensive back initially was backing up, I just instantly pressed the button. I didn't wait for anything to develop, and I just tried to get it to Dalton, and it was just bad. First and goal from the 5 for the Razorbacks, gifted a second chance. Sean Maije stopped in front of the end zone by Robert Butts. They go back to the ground again on a 2nd down and goal. Jackson hands off. They do. Gerard Byler's there though, and they get the stop. And this is what was important about that chase down from Dorian Tobin. Would have been a pick 6. Instead, now Arkansas gonna have to find the end zone, and this player settle for 3. 3rd and 5. From the 5, it's really 3rd and goal. KJ Jackson, end zone, touchdown, Arkansas. Coverage was bad. Unfortunately, we could not make the stand. Defense put in a bad spot, couldn't get the stop, and it'll be a tie football game. That's Davion Dozier with the touchdown reception, and we're all knotted up. 5:40 left to play in the first half. Tobin looking to make up for his mistake, but the first play is going to go to Darrell Robinson. The run defense starting to get a little bit better here for the Razorbacks. 2nd and 6 from the 29. We'll just check this down to Shamar Porter, but he drops it. The pass was a touch behind him, but definitely catchable. And that brings up a 3rd and 6 situation from the 29. Big blitz on its way from Arkansas. Tobin couldn't get the screen pass off, and we'll have to punt it away. And a really bad punt from Roger DeLuca means that Arkansas starts with the football on the UConn side of the field. Jackson fakes the handoff, looks to throw. Good blocking setup there. And Logan Stern, who was back in coverage, got beat. Don't often see that man in coverage. I was definitely surprised to see it myself. 2nd and 2 from the 39. Handoff, Maije breaks it to the outside, falls forward through the Hutchison tackle, and has the first. And they're finally finding a good running game here. 2nd and 2 from the 29. As it's Jaden Tobias in the backfield this time, but it doesn't matter because they go to the air, and it's Easter, who scored a touchdown earlier and has his 2nd one on the day. It's the tight end Shamar Easter. Touchdown, Arkansas. And off the interception and then a bad punt, the Razorbacks find themselves up a score here in the 2nd quarter. We've got 3 minutes here to try to tie this game up in the first half, as Tobin back to pass. Another screen set up for Terry Overhauser that gets 5. 2nd and 5 from the 32 as Tobin back to pass, going to step up. Had Shamar Porter deep potentially, but it was a risky throw. Would rather just get it on the ground. 1st and 10 to the 49. Back to pass again is Tobin. Has some time, wants Porter, gets it to him, and has the first. 2nd down and 10. Tobin back to pass. Wants Marcus Angler for the first time today. Gets him over the middle. And that's another first. From the 24 now, Tobin will look to throw. He's going to the end zone. He wants Dalton Schmizniak. It's swatted away. 2nd and 10 from the 24. Trying to set up a screen again. This time we actually get it off to Darrell Robinson. He'll get the first and get out of bounds at the 14. Now in the red zone, Tobin looks to throw. Just going to take the free check down there on the right to Porter. Big 3rd down here. Tobin. Nice pocket, sees Porter, but overthrows him. Would have been a touchdown. Porter was wide open. Instead, it's 4th and 6, and we got to settle for a Zach Costanzo field goal attempt. I am notoriously terrible from the hashes. The kick is up, and it is inside that left upright. Kick is good. 21-17 now the score. Arkansas with the lead, and they do start with the ball in the 2nd half. Not to mention, they still have about 40 seconds, and I believe all of their timeouts. 37 seconds remain. Jackson will look to throw. They're looking for more points. He checks it down to his running back, and Joey Terrell's right there. They did only have 2 timeouts, by the way, not all 3. And now on 2nd and 5. Jackson looks to throw. He wants it all deep down the field. Underthrown and therefore swatted away. That was not good coverage by Santos. They'll go again and find the first down up to midfield. They used their last timeout. 21 seconds left. Jackson running out of time, scrambling into Logan Stern, and he throws it away wisely. 2nd and 10 from the 50. Jackson to pass again. He throws it away again, panicking under the pressure. On 3rd down with less than 15 seconds left, Jackson will actually find his target this time, gets the first. They have 9 more seconds. Clock starts moving. They're going to spike this football, it looks like, with 3 seconds left, and they may attempt a long field goal. That's exactly what they're going to do. This is a 54-yard field goal attempt from the left hash. Kick is on its way. If it has the distance, it's good, and it does. Field goal through for the Razorbacks, and that means we'll head to halftime down a touchdown still. 24-17 is the score. Really just a couple of mistakes plaguing the Huskies, that interception of course being the big one. And Arkansas does start with the football, and we've been having a hard time stopping that offense. 1st and 10 Razorbacks. From the 19 to start the second half. It's a handoff up the gut, and it's read by Johnny McNulty, the fan favorite. Still only a sophomore. McNulty looking to have a great sophomore campaign. 2nd and 13 from the 17. It goes MyJ's way again, and Corin Daly is in the backfield quicker than the speed of sound. Blink and you'll miss it. Corin Daly instantly through the gap for the TFL. So it's 3rd and 17 from the 12, and they actually hand it off here. Interestingly, just kind of giving up on the possession. Joey Terrell makes the tackle, and it's a 3 and out for the Razorbacks. The defense nullifies the second half advantage. It hasn't been the best showing so far for Dorian Tobin. 1st and 10 from the 40 for him. He's going to hand it off to Darrell Robinson, who gets about 6. He's had some throws behind guys, some overthrows. Hasn't really been all that accurate today. As Robinson going to get the carry again, and it'll be another good one for a first. Just kind of got to stick with the bread and butter, I guess. 1st and 10 from the 48. As on an RPO, we'll get this to Shamar Porter. Makes a man miss, makes another man miss, and gets up to the enemy 30 at the 29. 1st down and 10. Robinson going to get another carry. Following his blockers, a really good cut there by Darrell Robinson up to the 15. Tobin back to pass, blitz on its way, and trying to get it to Dan Sanders, he overthrows him, and it's intercepted by the linebacker behind. Another misstep by the freshman quarterback Dorian Tobin. And if I had to guess, the fans are chanting for Cole Welliver. 1st and 10 Arkansas, again gift wrapped an opportunity by Dorian Tobin. Handoff Sean MyJ up the middle. And then that's Joey Terrell getting the tackle. Defense going to need to make another stand like they did on the last drive. Would be absolutely massive for our chances to win. And they're going to do it potentially. 3rd and 12 upcoming. From the 8, it was Calvin Whitaker on the TFL there. And they hand it off on a 3rd and long again. I think I said 3rd and 8 instead of a 3rd and 12. Either way, they don't convert. 4th and 2, they go 3 and out again. And here he is, Cole Welliver taking over at quarterback. Tobin just been too mistake prone today, and we can't be having that, as Robinson will get a carry of 4. Now keep in mind, Welliver is huge. He is 6'6" and has a bigger arm than Tobin, but does need to run a much more traditional pro-style offense, being that he doesn't have that athletic ability. 2nd and 6 from the 42. Robinson finds a lane somehow and gets to the 46. Shaq McBath checks in. Him and Cadet kind of share the RB2 duties. And McBath will get the carry and finds a hole up the middle to get 4. 2nd and 6 from the 42. Big blitz coming. Welliver hit as he throws. It falls incomplete. So we'll try again on 3rd and 6. Another blitz on its way. Welliver, though, calm in the pocket, finds the tight end Marcus Angler to get to the 32. 1st down and 10 for the UConn offense as Robinson gets a carry and not much there. Robinson already over 150 yards on the day though. 2nd and 8 from the 30, play action pass. Welliver running out of time, hit as he throws. It's incomplete. Edward McClinton in the game there on the right side of your screen. As on 3rd and 8, there's also no Marcus Angler. We're back to pass. And down goes Welliver again. The pass blocking just abysmal. I believe that was only a 4-man rush. It was actually our left guard, number 77. That's Ben Morosky, who is our most talented guard, allowing a man through immediately. Being that Costanzo does not have the strongest leg, we will look to punt. And it's a decent one from DeLuca. It pins the Razorbacks at their own 10 as we close in on the end of the third quarter. Run up the middle for Sean Maije. Good tackle by Daniel Hutchison. Empty set this time for KJ Jackson. Has time to throw and just dumps it off. Hutchison there. There is a flag down. It was very late. Looks like it's going to be offensive holding potentially. It was a late flag there for a holding call. We, of course, accept, and it brings up a 2nd and 15 from their own 5 out of the pistol. Jackson does hand off Maije. He has a lot of room to work with. Need a good tackle from Kiki, and we get it. So a 3rd and 4, as there's a flag down. Is that a false start? It is. They'll back it up. Make it 3rd and 9 from the 12. Jackson out of the shotgun. Does look to throw this time. And it's going to be intercepted by Santos. He's gotten burned a couple times this season, but not this time, as he turns around and picks off KJ Jackson. Jamie Santos, maybe a hero of the day, allowing UConn's offense to work within enemy territory. Still Cole Welliver in at quarterback. 1st and 10 from the 35. Robinson not wanting to squander the defense's opportunity that they granted them. The 4th quarter has begun. It's 2nd and 6 from the 31. Welliver on a draw play, hands off to Robinson, who just immediately gets laid out. Make it 3rd and 8. Welliver back to pass. Scrambling. This is where we would have loved Tobin. Just have to throw it away and hope we're still in Costanzo field goal range. Looks like just barely. So it's 4th and 8. Zach Costanzo on for a kick. And that kick is up, veering to the right, but it stays in the uprights and is good. So it is now 24-20 in favor of the Razorbacks still. The defense has been pretty stout. We need that to continue. Had the turnover from Santos. Terrell bringing down Maije there. 2nd and 9. Arkansas, of course, looking to chew clock. I think that's Calvin Whitaker that's going to get called for encroachment. That makes it a 2nd and 4. 9:40 left to play in the 4th. And not let Arkansas score a touchdown on this drive. Maybe easier said than done. Hutchison still getting the tackle from his backside there. And now Tobias, the second halfback, has checked in. But they're looking to throw, and it's incomplete. A bad one from Jackson. So it's a 3rd and 9 for the Razorbacks. It's back to pass, running out of time, has a man over the middle. Joey Terrell can't make the tackle, and it's Shamar Easter, the tight end, with another reception. 1st and 10 at the 38 in UConn territory. With as much time as there is on the clock, a touchdown doesn't quite ice the game, but it gets pretty close. Terrible angle from Robert Butts. Hutchison can't even make the tackle, but forces him out of bounds at the 3. He did try to swat the football out of his hands there. That's a false start on Arkansas to back them up off the 1st and goal. Make it a 1st and goal at the 8. Like I've mentioned, a touchdown is almost the dagger, but not quite. Johnny McNulty, the guy who ultimately makes the tackle there. We would accept a field goal attempt, though. I mean, obviously, the most preferred thing would be a turnover. Raheem Lovelace maybe saving a touchdown there. 3rd and goal from the 3. Back corner, end zone. That is complete for a touchdown, but a flag is down on the Razorbacks. Is that offensive pass interference? Very rare call there. We will, of course, accept. So now it is 3rd and goal from the 13. We're going to give cushion, of course, just can't allow them into the end zone. If we can make the tackle here, we force them to a field goal attempt. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And if you know College Football 25, like I know College Football 25, you know that the CPU is not very good from the right hash at around this distance. Is it any different for the Arkansas kicker? It is not. It's off the upright and no good. The window is open for the Huskies. A touchdown would win the game. There's still a ton of time on the clock, though. We can run the normal offense, and that starts with this man, Darrell Robinson, experiencing some wear and tear, but we need him. 2nd and 2 with 5 minutes left to play. Welliver will hand off Robinson again, And that wear and tear got even a little bit lower. I said we need him, but we just simply cannot risk him getting hurt this early in the season. So we'll bring in Shaq McBath. He is the closest in terms of abilities. It is also an elusive back. From the 34, it's 1st and 10, 4.5 minutes left to play, and McBath going nowhere, a loss of a yard. 2nd and 11 from the 33. Welliver is back to pass. And man in the backfield, he gets this to Terry Overhauser, who sets up a 3rd and medium. Big 3rd down here. As Welliver will look to throw. A little bit of a blitz on the way, and it's going to be knocked down. Maybe should have been intercepted. And we'll have to punt it away and pray that our defense gets another stop. Definitely should have looked at Marcus Engler. I was just worried that this linebacker was going to be able to play both of them. I thought maybe Sanders would be able to get in front. That's why I made the throw I did. But the play was definitely Marcus Engler behind. Just needed to try to lead the pass behind him. So Arkansas starts from their own 23. It was a good punt by DeLuca. So we need some stops here from the UConn Huskies defense. Robert Butts gets us started. It's only a pickup of 1. 3 minutes left to play in the game. And it's a keeper for the quarterback, but it's Cleto Chol in the backfield to get the stop. It's 3rd and 13. The biggest 3rd down of the game, potentially. KJ Jackson, he's out of the shotgun. Lets the clock go down to 2 seconds left, and they do actually just hand it off. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning, but UConn will get the football. We need a game-winning drive from Cole Welliver. It's touchdown or bust. Welliver back to throw under pressure immediately, just no time. 2nd and 10 from the 33 as Welliver's back to pass again. Gonna lob one up for Shamar Porter, but he was hit as he throws once more. And Porter having to play some defense there. This offensive line is really struggling here. 3rd and 10. And he's hit as he throws again, and it's 4th down. The right side of this line is just failing. Torian Johnson, the right tackle, is just horrible. If he had even a second more to throw, he maybe has a chance to hit Dalton there on the deep left, but man, this offensive line. Well, the offensive coordinator wants us to go for it, and I guess that makes the most sense. I don't know that I necessarily agree. We do have all 3 of our timeouts. I don't think the punt is the end of the world, but we'll try it. 4th and 10 from the 33. Welliver back to pass. He wants Marcus Engler. He has him. Can Engler get out of bounds? He's very close to it, but either way, it's a 1st down, and that's the most important part. The clock is not moving, so that did, in fact, stop the clock. 1st and 10 from the 48. Welliver back to pass. Has time to throw this time. He wants it all for Jackson Harper. He overthrows him by a step. A minute 32. It's 2nd and 10 from the 48. Welliver back to pass. Hit as he throws again. Torian Johnson has to be benched. The redshirt freshman, number 68, Manny Smith, checks into the game to hopefully give us some type of chance at having time to throw on the right side. 3rd and 10. Welliver back to pass. He wants Engler, who makes the diving grab. 1st and 10 up to the 28. If Manny Smith can even give us half a second longer, that's a success. Now 1st and 10 from the 28. As we're going for Terry Overhauser towards the end zone, it's overthrown. 2nd and 10 from the 28. Welliver just takes the check down to Shaq McBath. Big blitz was on its way. McBath gets inside the 10. A 1st and goal from the 9. The issue here now is we do not want to give the Razorbacks any time, but we also need to make sure that we score. We're going to choose some clock here. So with about 40 seconds left, we'll hand it off. Shaq McBath trying to follow his blockers, but down he goes. And we burn our first timeout. 33 seconds left to play. 2nd and goal from the 7. Welliver wants Porter, and he does hold on, but not even close to the end zone. 3rd and goal from the 4. Welliver to throw. He wants Schmizniak. He can't hold on. Tried to give him a high ball. No good. And the game comes down to this. 4th and goal from the 4. 19 seconds left. We're out of timeouts. If this is no good, we lose the game. Welliver back to pass. He wants Marcus Engler. It's intercepted, and the game is officially over. The UConn Huskies trying to battle back against the Razorbacks, and it's no good. Welliver throwing an interception of his own, and the Razorbacks gonna take the victory here 24-20 over the UConn Huskies. Sammy Rhodes with the interception. That's the guy who picked off Tobin earlier as well. I'll take a look at the replay on this play. Maybe I missed a guy. I've been doing that after most passing plays recently, just to kind of hold myself a little more accountable and see if I did miss something sort of glaringly obvious. There is Overhauser in the back corner that I didn't see initially. If I throw it like right here, then we probably have it. But I was looking in the middle of the field for Porter or Angler. But yeah, Overhauser initially was the play. I just needed to throw it sooner. After that, there's really nothing. So yeah, it's just Overhauser. I just missed him on the read. He wasn't my first read. If he was my first read, I think maybe we get that, because I would have thrown it about here, seeing that he was going to break to the outside corner. And that maybe would have been a touchdown. Would have been close for sure. The next best thing is probably Dalton Schmizniak over the middle if I give him a high ball. He's the guy in the sort of back right here. I decided, seeing that I was about to take a hit, to just give Angler a chance and just intercepted, unfortunately. So the Razorbacks come into Rentschler Field and they take the upset victory over number 7 ranked UConn. But in reality, we know that the SEC, even the middle of the pack teams, even the bottom of the barrel teams, are better than just about every other team in college football, not in the SEC. That's a really good Arkansas football team. I'm not too ashamed about the performance. It comes down to the mistakes, right? 2 interceptions from Tobin, one of which was completely my fault. The second one was just an overthrow by his AI, which honestly is kind of nice to see that the AI isn't just going to be perfect all the time. And then I missed a few reads here and there, but you got to lose sometimes. We're close to being one of those elite football teams, but I do think that Arkansas is still just a little bit better than us. We held them scoreless in the second half, but we couldn't score either until that field goal near the end. Maybe we should have just gone for it at that point. We take a look at player stats. Tobin and Welliver, neither of them were very good, and I think a lot of that has to do with Torian Johnson, who was absolutely miserable today. I think he's officially lost his starting job. I'm putting in Manny Smith permanently. At the end of that game, I know he only played a few downs, but Manny Smith was much better in pass protection. Torian Johnson is just too much of a liability as a tackle, because I believe he has bad pass block finesse, which is really, really horrible for a tackle. We need a better right tackle, really, really bad. And I think that guy is Manny Smith going forward. He's not the highest rated dude, but he has really good pass blocking ratings. I think that this sort of has just reaffirmed to me that Tobin needs to be the guy. The ability to scramble in situations like this, I think, is better. I think benching him in this game made a lot of sense. I did say he was on a short leash. He was not playing super well. But then Welliver came in and was arguably worse. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he cannot escape that pocket when it collapses, which it does frequently against premier edge rushers like the Razorbacks have. But also, I wanted to put Tobin in at wide receiver when that happened, because he can play wide receiver very well. He's like a 77 overall wide receiver, but it doesn't let you in the middle of the game. The depth chart does not allow it. If you're on the depth chart at like the menu screen, you can put in a quarterback as a wide receiver, but for some reason in the actual game, you cannot. As for rushing, really good day for Darrell Robinson, 24 for 167, 6.9 per carry. I'm a little worried about the future of Max Cadet. I know he's only going to improve, but man, he just does not have that burst at all. I know he's a power rusher and he's more of a, run into contact rather than juke the contact type of guy, but to have 0.3 per carry and then McBath, I'm a little worried about the running back position after Robinson leaves. For receiving, it was mostly Shamar Porter again, leading the team in receptions, 7 and had 57 yards. Angler 4 for 62, Overhauser 3 grabs for 28, Robinson 2 for 15, McBath 1 for 19, and Dalton had the 1 for 20. For blocking, Blake Franks with the most pancakes, and Morosky the only guy to give up a sack. It's because most of the pressure just ended up resulting in incompletions. Torian Johnson, like I said, was absolutely horrible today. Defensively, Joey Terrell leads in solo tackles and total tackles with 9. I feel like we didn't see a lot of Raheem Lovelace today, but he did have the 1 TFL. Byler had 2. Chol with 1, and a number of other guys, including Johnny McNulty. We did not get to the quarterback today, though, and Santos had an interception. A disappointing loss for the Huskies, but one that I think makes sense. The Razorbacks, really good football team. Huskies, also a really good football team, but not quite on that SEC level yet. So we advanced to week number 3, which was actually a bye week for us, and we're down to rank number 20. Let's take a look at the top 25 after that. I'm sure the Razorbacks have found their way in after beating a top 10 opponent. No. Wow. Okay. Surely they're receiving votes at least. No. Did I miss them? I must have just missed them. No, they are not here. and they're not receiving votes. They're 2-0 on the season, with a win over an opponent that was ranked 7th at the time, and I don't see them at all. I could be blind and just missing them, but I don't think I am. Purdue into the rankings up to 24th. You've got Auburn, a team we play late in the season, currently at 17th. Interestingly, they play UAB this week, who is ranked 6th. UAB, we play after the bye week. That should be a fun one. The current reigning national champions. And looking for some upsets, immediately I find one as East Carolina upsets TCU 27-24, and I'll point out any other upsets I might see. Not too much of an upset considering both of these teams are very good, but Utah currently unranked beating number 21 Oklahoma. Liberty beating Syracuse. Duke just barely beating an FCS squad. Kennesaw State upsetting San Jose State 28-25. UMass getting back on track after a loss last week, beating Maryland. Another one that's probably a little bit of an upset here, considering Memphis's team on paper, 34-26 for the Lobos. Michigan 38-22 over Alabama. Neither of these two teams are ranked currently. And Colorado upsetting Ohio State in kind of dominant fashion, 38-24 final. Big dub for the Big 12. Ooh, and this is the only FCS loss that I saw scrolling down the list. Arkansas State falls to 1-2, losing 24-17 to the FCS Northwest Sharks. So now if we take a look at the Big 12 conference, currently Cincinnati is 2-0, Iowa State, Liberty, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Kansas State, UAB, UCF, Utah, and West Virginia all still undefeated. And the only team in the Big 12 without a win so far is the Cougars, but obviously they've only played one game. Give it a little time. One thing to keep in mind is that Notre Dame is now in on Joshua McCargo big time. They took a bigger leap than we did. We do officially know his hard sell, so we may pivot to that. And I went ahead and took some points off of certain players to free up 40 points to schedule the visit for Joshua McCargo for week number 5 when we play Cincinnati. So that'll be a big game for us. It looks like it's going to be a battle between us and Notre Dame for this elite power rusher. So we will advance to week number 3. Since we have a bye this week, we'll double check recruiting, make sure we're on the right path. So we do have the true freshman quarterback, Neil Powell, at risk of transferring due to playing style. We'll take a look at that in just a second, see why he'd be a risk. And UAB currently ranked 6th. They did beat Auburn. They're 2-0 on the season, and they obviously won the Natty a season ago, one of the best teams in college football. We did gain more influence than Notre Dame for Joshua McCargo this week after switching to the hard sell, soft sell method rather than just doing send the house. You can see over there on the right side of your screen that we have that one additional gray arrow. That means that our hard sell was good enough for even more influence. We're actually really close to getting the commitment from John Pelshak, worth keeping an eye on. He may commit after the UAB game. And otherwise, on a lot of these battles, we're looking pretty good. The only one that concerns me a bit is Darren Michelle, because Ohio State and Notre Dame are pushing pretty hard. It looks like Ohio State gained the most amount of influence. Neil Powell is the scrambler archetype for quarterbacks, and I believe for all of them, it is just based on passing yards per game. And all they want is 191. Currently, we're not getting that. I think that we easily can start hitting that milestone. But something to keep an eye on, another guy who is a transfer risk is Cole Welliver, because he does not like the brand exposure that UConn has, which I think is listed at like a C+ right now. But thank you guys so much for watching. I do truly appreciate the continued support. If you find yourself coming back on the regular and you aren't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that sub button for me. It does help me out a lot. And I will see you in the next episode, where we will see if UConn can contend against the reigning champs.